Hey YouTube, I'm Chris. Welcome back to my channel. It's always great having you there. Thank you so very much for watching all of my videos and especially subscribing to my channel. My channel has been growing over the past good several months, where I'm now finally up over 800 subscribers, and that really truly means an awful lot to me. So I wanted to thank you very much for helping me get there. It really means a lot. Please continue to subscribe, share my videos with everyone that you think might enjoy them and find them helpful. Please give me a thumbs up as well if you really like the video that you're watching. So with all those uptick in subscribers, which I really do appreciate very much, I had a few requests here over the past couple of months or so to make a new updated video regarding the tail light. Maybe 2 years ago, where I put in LED bulbs in these tail lights, and I put them up on the front of the car as well. And so my last video of that series was just putting in the LED bulbs in these tail lights. And at near the end of that video, I was trying to have it stop hyper flashing with adding in resistors. And at the end of that video, it turned out, as I mentioned, I didn't have enough resistors on hand to make it work properly, so it was just hyper flashing. So I ended the video there. And so eventually, after I posted that video, I did go on ahead and I did buy more of those resistors for the tail light LED bulbs, and I wired them all up in series, and I'll show you that, explain some things that happened since then. It turned out they didn't work very long. So what I'll do is I need to go ahead and take off this plastic piece here once again. There's not a whole lot to take it off. As I mentioned in my other video, just have to take a screwdriver and just try to work on out the little, hope if you can see that, work out the little plastic things right there, little plastic bushings. And so I'm going to have to put this camera on a tripod so I can get these a lot better, as I can't do anything with just one hand. Have to remove these little plastic retainers as best as you can. There's 4 of them or something like that, holding on this little plastic piece, and the rest of it isn't quite so difficult. Just have to try to be somewhat gentle with these so you don't break them or lose them. It won't take much for them to start flying off somewhere and then you can't find it. So that comes off after remove all of those retention things, and now there is another retention plastic piece on the very far corner, which I'll show you. Looks like that. That screws right in, so you just unscrew it. Okay, so I was showing you earlier is you got these little things that screw. You have a small little stud in that corner there that screws into it. Anyway, so now we can peel back the liner, and I'll show you on both sides where I now, as I briefly mentioned at the end of my last video regarding this project, I figured I needed to put in 3 resistors And sure enough, I don't know if you can see real well, it's hard to see, I got a total of 3 resistors in there. Maybe I'll zoom up, maybe you can see it. 3 resistors all in a row. And so I had to take one side of the resistors, wire it here, which is for the, well, I know it doesn't make any sense. You got the same colored wires for negative and positive, which doesn't make any sense. I realized that, but that was the only wire I had, so I just had to keep track and put the negative or the one side of the resistor wires, and then that will go down into this little clip here, which is, my memory was it was orange, you can see. And then I took the other side of the resistors, wired them all up into this, and this goes up into this clip, which goes into that, you can't see that way, can you? Goes into that red wire. No, not red wire, I'm sorry about that. That's not right. It's black, I think. I can't see. So I got the one side of the resistors tapped into the orange wire, as you can see, and then I have the other side of the resistors tapped in on this little black wire here. Now I don't know if you can still see that real well, so it's going to be orange and black on that one. And so that's all pretty much all. So that's all pretty much all, you know, by itself. So you're looking at, let me make sure I'm telling you the right wire here. It looks like that's orange and blue. Get a better zoom up on that, okay? The camera doesn't like to cooperate with me. So you can see that's, I swear, it's like, you can see that orange and blue stripe. So the one side of the resistor goes to the orange and blue stripe wire. You can kind of see there. So you look for that particular wire, and then the other side of the resistor goes into the black. It goes into the harness. So I want to make sure I got that right, because you might be asking, you know, what do you mean orange? You know, there's orange, blue. So it is an orange, and at least to me, it looks like it's a blue stripe. It might be a slightly different color for you on your car, but those are the kind of wires to look for. But if in doubt, always refer to your wiring diagram for your car, just in case it's going to be a slightly different color or whatever. So I know that's not the best way to do it, but when you got all 4 wires put together or whatever, you have to just try to do the best you can. And so here, so I got the wires all zip tied together, and they are zip tied, remember right, I know there's nothing back there. So I do have those, I got those zip tied together, there's nothing behind this, just to kind of help keep it in place so don't move around. And then I got the wires fed all into the 1, 2, 3 resistors all right there. And here, you can make this camera work with me. The other side of the wires are zip tied together here, and they just kind of just lay there. And so there's no worry or concern about anything shorting together, because they're all insulated with each other anyway. So they just have to only kind of sit there and rest there. They're not going to really go anywhere, because I got the wires fed here, I got them zip tied there. I can always tighten that up just a bit more if I absolutely need to, but otherwise, as you can see, you know, they're all insulated with each other, so they're not going to short. Now what happened last time on my last video I bought these same kind of resistors from eBay, and it was an eBay account from China. So I was getting these, so I got these resistors. I didn't get enough of them. I mean, they didn't cost a lot, but they weren't exactly cheap either. It took forever to get here. But they were all made in China. It took a week or 2 weeks to get here. And with China, they were not made with the best quality. So even though I did not have enough resistors to make this flash at the proper correct speed, it turned out over time, and which I don't remember quite exactly if I put a third one in there later of a different brand, like maybe a Sylvania brand, I don't remember. But if I did have it work, and at the time if I did manage to, after the video was finished and I got it working properly, well, those Chinese made resistors, after, I don't know, it didn't take very long, 6 or 8 months maybe, the little filament inside those little resistors that you got inside there, they just, one of them or two of them just went out. It just burned up. And I guess just because when you have a cycle of hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, it's when they're Chinese made, that little filament's not going to tolerate the kind of temperature cycle all the time, so it just shorted, or just, you know, went to ground, disconnected. And next thing I knew, one day was everything is fine, and it started hyper flashing. And I took an ohm meter to it. There was no continuity, so that told me that those resistors were just no good. So I got some other ones. These are not from China. I got these, I don't remember if I got them from Car ID or either that or some other automotive website. And so I bought those, and I thought, well, I know I need 3 of them. And so I bought a total of 6, maybe more than that. However they came in a package. So when they finally arrived, I put all those in there, and I'll show you just a little bit later how they're all working. So maybe those are some things to kind of keep in mind when you want to do this kind of stuff for your car. Try to make sure, first of all, that you got really good quality resistors as best as you can, and try to keep in mind, if you're going to be buying them from eBay, from China, you're going to get what you pay for, and they may last as long as what you pay for them, which is not very long. So now on this side, did the same thing. As you can see, you can't see real well. Let's see, I know there's 1, 2, oh, that's on the bottom, you can't see it. Can't see it real well, but anyway, so there's 2 on the top, there's 1 on the bottom you can just barely see. So there's 3 resistors in there, and I got them all sort of zip tied together. If I can zoom in like this, maybe you can see it, maybe not. Camera can't zoom up on anything, but anyway, I got them zip tied around together, so they're not going to go anywhere. Just going to lay there. In here, I kind of ran out of wire, so I had to make do with what I had. So I remember to take the one side of the one end of the resistors, put them all together, and I use this black wire, which I have it zip tied so it won't move or go anywhere far. And I just had to keep track as to what wire I needed to put it to. And so, see if I can show you, because it's really hard to see anything. I got the one side zip tied, and it goes to this orange blue stripe wire. Not sure if you can see that. It looks like to me it's a light blue. It might be gray. So, you know, don't totally quote me all on it, but you can see that it's a striped wire anyway, orange and a something striped wire. The one end of the resistors goes to that wire, it's tapped to. The other side of the resistors, which is another black wire, I connected to, that's all I had. And that goes, let's see if I can find it. think that goes to the black wire here. You can see that. So I got it tapped into another black wire, which is ground, which goes into that main connector. So for both sides, you're gonna have orange and a blue stripe wire, maybe orange and violet stripe wire on this side for the one side of the resistors, and the other resistors goes to the black wire, which is ground. And then on the other side, for the passenger side, you have another orange wire with a light blue stripe, or whatever stripe color that is, going to that. So, you know, it's just a matter of just, you know, making sure you get the right wire I should say, tapped all together, connected up best as you can so it makes a real good solid connection. It's not going to go anywhere. And just try to lay them on there so it's going to, you know, not short against anything. It's not going to overheat on anything or burn anything or melt anything, whatever else. So I had it all like this since I fixed it up. Now, like I said, the same thing happened here like I did with the other side. I had these Chinese resistors, and one or two of them, when I did, I thought I may have had it working for a while. The little filament with all the hot cold cycles, it just finally just quit. It just, you know, lost connection. So I had to get much better quality resistors and that tolerate the hot cold cycle a lot better, and just wire them all together and just try to lay them in there so they're not going to move. Not going to really go anywhere. If they do, it's not going to go far, and it's not going to touch anything or rest up against anything critical. And so I had a problem with both sides. You know, it happened on the passenger side first, and the driver's side was next after that. And you know, and it's possible that those resistors may have shorted against something, may have shorted against the body of the car. I don't really know for sure, 100%. I know I didn't have them insulated real well, but I had it spaced apart so they wouldn't touch. So it's either that, or I'm thinking most likely that hot cold cycle for the resistor filament just quit. So now what I'll do is, now I got all of these 3 resistors all together. There's 3 on each side. This was 3 here and 3 on the other side, and I will get you on the tripod so you can see the tail lights flashing. Now the camera may not show it real well, but that's plenty bright. And you can see that it's flashing normally at the proper rate. And I'll show you something else, so I'll tell you something else that happened as well, is that even though it's flashing properly now, at least, you know, on this side or the other side I'll show you here in a bit, the other thing that happened was there'd be times where I go to leave and I turn the right turn signal on and it just starts just flash real quick, fast, you know, hyper flashing again. And I'm wondering, well, what's wrong this time? Well, why does it keep doing that? And I would turn it off, turn it back on a few times, and maybe finally after the second or third some odd time it would start to flash properly like this. Well, on some vehicles, and like this one, the computer will turn on or turn off the voltage for the alternator. It's something to do with, I don't know, saving gas, which is stupid because the alternator is always running just the same. It doesn't save on anything. So whenever, at least I'm thinking, that whenever the computer shuts off the alternator, it creates like there's no good load or good current for this taillight, for the resistors, to make it flash normal. So it'll start to flash hyper until the computer finally decides it wants to charge the battery again and turns on the alternator, make it start charging the battery. Then you have enough voltage to make that flash properly. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. Although in my case, like I said, those resistors just up and went bad, and I couldn't get any kind of continuity out of them. They just burned up inside of them. So I don't think that had anything to do with this. But anytime you put in the proper correct resistors, and it's going to be, you know, 3 on this side and 3 on the other side, and at some point they just start out of the blue hyper flashing again, and you're wondering, well, what in the world is this all about? Well, try to keep in mind that's probably the computer that turned off the alternator current to the battery. So it's just sitting there 12 volts, and that might cause this to start hyper flashing until the computer finally decides, hey, let's charge the battery again. You know, powers up the alternator again, feeds it 14 volts or whatever it might be, 14.5 volts, and it makes it start flashing properly. So I don't know, at least that's what I'm thinking. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know what else it could be, because it works fine other times like it is now. So maybe keep that in mind. I'll show you the other side. So now we got the driver's side flashing normally, and then now I'll show you what's going to happen when I turn on the four-ways. I'll show you something with that as well. I found that might be happening to you. As you can see, maybe you can't see, it's so faint. The four-ways are on, but the taillights, it's looking pretty dim. You know, it probably looks dimmer than that on the camera, but that's pretty dim, because what's happening is when you have, you know, 3 resistors on this side and 3 resistors on the other side, you got a combination of a lot of resistors holding back current to make both of these taillights up and flash all that bright. But the thing to keep in mind too is, even though it does look a little dim, they are still functioning. I mean, you are still visible. People are still going to see that you have your four-ways on. Even though, yeah, it looks a little dim and there's just really nothing much else you can really do about it, but it's still functional. It's still a functioning four-way. It's still visible. So I wouldn't worry too much about how dim that looks. But let's go ahead and by the way, it's doing that with the headlights off. So now I'll turn the headlights on and see what it does. So now that I got the headlights turned on, well, now the four-ways are full bright. So that's just one of those things when you're running resistors. And I'll show you on the front of the car, because I do have resistors up on the front of the car as well. I'll show you that here in a little bit. And by the way, that's what the headlights are all on, and you can make out that the four-ways are full bright and they are flashing at the proper rate. They're not hyper flashing. That's with the headlights are still on, and you can still make out that the taillights are still illuminated, and they are illuminated at the proper brightness. Even though the camera may not show it quite that way, it may look a little dimmer to you on the video, but they are lit up in a visible brightness. And so there's nothing wrong with the running lights at night when you run those off the resistors. So now turn off the lights, and you probably could see the marked difference between the full bright and very dim. with the 4-ways. So now I'll show you the front of the car. In my last video or two on this series, I put in LED bulbs here on the front, and that's just a marker light, they don't flash. I put another LED bulb here. And that's just a marker light, they don't blink. But I did have to put in resistors up here on the front as well. And here you can see, to make this work, I only had to put in just one resistor. So you can, this one's easier to see. I got the resistor secured on with zip ties on the top and bottom, even though it might be hard to see down there. And so I got the wires, I got this one tapped into this wire here, and this is the black wire, this is ground. Goes there to the top, or it doesn't really matter which end it's on. And the other bottom wire goes from the bottom on up here, and it will tap into this green wire. This is going to be green with the white stripe, and you're probably not going to see that real well on the video. It's not, only it's going to zoom in, but you can kind of sort of make out the green wire with the white stripe. So that's where that taps into. And like I said, only need just one resistor for this front bulb. I didn't need 2 or 3 or anything like that. For this side, I did the same thing. I got the resistor secured in with zip ties, and I ran the top wire. Again, it doesn't matter which end or which side it's on, but I got the one wire into black, which is ground, and I got the other wire from down below. I got it tapped into this other green with a white stripe. You can see that there, green and white stripe for the other wire for the resistor. And it just, you know, it just plugs right in. So you can always just easily just remove that. It unplugs, it pulls right out, makes it pretty easy to work on. And so, so just black and green with a white stripe. So, like I said, only need just one resistor to make this work properly, have it flash the right way. And and I don't remember if that's I don't think that's the Chinese resistor. I don't think I bought these resistors from China off of eBay. I think I bought those at the auto parts store. And they might be the Sylvania brand, I don't remember for sure real well. But I may have bought those at the AutoZone or something like that. I didn't think they'd be strong enough, but I was kind of needing something real bad and went on ahead and I bought, you know, a couple boxes of those resistors, figuring, well, if I need to have more on these front bulbs, then I'll just do that. But you might be wondering, just like I showed you on the back, on the rear end of the tail lights, will these dim? You know, if I turn the lights on and all that stuff like I did with the back, will these dim? And so let me show you that. And what I did was I turned the lights all on, so as you know, for nighttime they are supposed to dim some, so that part's normal. But if you remember on the tail end before, where the lights are off and the four-ways are on, well, they look pretty dim, but up here on the front they're full bright. So that's something else to keep in mind, that when you have the lights off, the tail lights might be real dim on the back on a four-way, but up front they're going to be full bright. So you're still going to be visible either way. So again, the lights are still on, and the front lights are visible. They are a little dim, like they're supposed to for night. And you can see the side marker is working. That's LED. And that side marker is on, it's working, LED. So now all the lights are off and the four-ways are back on. They are full bright up front, as they should be. But when you go way back here, they're going to be pretty dim. I mean, they're still visible, but they're dim because you got so many resistors back here. But you are still visible, so it ain't like you really need to worry too much about being seen or written up or anything like that. So that's pretty much what I was wanting to show you for this updated video. You can see I got all the wires, all of that all secured down real well, and I am running LED headlights. You kind of sort of see the LED bulb assembly down there. And I did have to run a special unit or converter to make that work properly. I'm probably not using the right words or the right description, but I had to use, there's a word for it, I can't remember now what it was called, but it's a special unit that goes with those LED headlight bulbs. And if I can think of it, I'll mention it, or if not, if I remember it later, I'll try to put in the description. But I can't think of what it was called, but it's anyway, there's a special little device that connects up with these LED headlights, and I just can't remember now for the life of me what they're called, but you do need them. They are sold with the LED headlight bulbs. You do need them. They all plug together. It's all plug and play. There's no splicing of wires like I had to do with this one. But there's no splicing of wires like I had to do, and you know, clipping together wires like I had to do with all of these resistors and stuff. With the headlights, it's all together different, where its headlights are, you know, actually pretty easy. You just have to unplug the old bulb and plug in the new harness. Everything's all plug and play with the headlights, and I made a video about that, and you can watch it. If I remember, I'll try to put up a little thing on here in this video where you can watch how I did the headlights if you want to do it with your car. And now those are the original LED headlights I'm running, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put together this. This liner back together. It's real easy. Just have to kind of lay it up there and get this this little thing here and screw it back on the stud here. But those are the original LED headlight bulbs that I installed. They still work great. Haven't had an issue with them. And so it's really easy to install. Just a matter of just unplugging the old stuff and plugging all the new stuff, which included that special, I think it's called an anti-flicker. That might be what it's called. I think it's an anti-flicker device, if I remember that right. It also helps to protect the LED headlight bulbs as well from any stray spike or surge or short or whatever. I think those take the hit before the LED headlight bulbs do. So I think, if I remember that right, I think it's an anti-flicker device that comes with the headlight bulbs if you buy the correct package. And they're the first ones in line to take any hit against anything that might try to burn them out or whatever. I think that's what they're called. I think, but I can't exactly still remember very well. Now just a matter of putting this back on with the little plastic clips. Again, you got 4 of them, so try not to lose them. So I've got little plastic retainers, all in little holes holding it. It's not going to go anywhere. So it's all back together. So I'll turn on the lights one more time. Do another walk around here real quick. Now again, we got all the lights are on, 4 ways are on. Nice and bright. I even got an LED bulb for the headlight. The license plate, I should say. So that's plenty bright. You can't see it now, obviously, but at night, this really lights it all up. So it's pretty handy having that all nice and lit up real bright there. So that's extra bright. And up here, we got the little side marker light. We got the low beam LED headlight. We got the turn signal full bright. Got the other LED turn signal full bright. That's the low beam LED bulb. Kind of sort of see, maybe you can, maybe you can't, kind of make out the LED bulb in it. This is the corner light. I forgot to mention that earlier. This is an LED corner light. It's LED in there. It only works when the car is in drive and moving. That's the only, and I have a turn signal on. That's the only time that this corner light LED bulb will come on and work. It's full bright, it's white. So you can't see it now, but when the car is in drive and moving, then this will operate. So we got the side marker there. So same thing with this too. That's the LED corner light. It's a white LED bulb. Doesn't need any resistors. It just turns on steady bright when you have the car in gear, drive, and you have either one of the directional turn signals on. So that's pretty much all I was wanting to show you today. I even have got an LED bulb right there, which lights it all up inside the engine bay at night. So if it ever gets dark enough, you can kind of see what you're fixing, kind of, sort of. By the way, I'll show you this other thing real quick here in the trunk. Now again, I don't know if you can see, but maybe you can't. But that's another LED bulb, full bright, and this lights all up the whole back trunk back here when it's dark. So again, another handy feature having that. And these reverse lights, they're both white LED, and there's no resistors needed for that either. The only thing you need resistors for is the tail lights and the front marker lights on for the turn signals. That's the only things you need resistors for. So three resistors for this side, 3 resistors for that side, and just 1 resistor on each side up front for the turn signal. So what I can do, like I did with my other previous video when I was working on this project before, was I made a list in the description of all of the bulbs that I got and where I got them from. They were all off of a website on the internet. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to find that list once again and copy and paste over all the bulbs, and if I can find them, I'll try to put the resistors in the comments as well for the description. So that way you might be able to find the bulbs and the resistors and all that you need for your own project for your car. I've not run this car for a good couple of weeks, so it's overdue to be run for a while and get the battery charged up. So I've been, as you can tell through the whole video, I've been running the car, but I was kind of needing to because this hasn't been run for a long time. So anyway, so that's the video for today. Hope you enjoy it. Once again, like I say, please share the video with anyone that you might think would like it, would enjoy it. And so give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. As you subscribe more and more, that helps me to bring you more and more high quality content for you. So I really do appreciate you being there. Thank you so much for all of you being there and subscribing so far. Well over 800 subscribers is pretty awesome, so I greatly appreciate that. I can only hope and pray I can get well over 1,000 subscribers, and then that way, hoping that if my channel does become monetized, I can easily use those much needed funds to upgrade some of the equipment and bring you better content, and all of that all goes right back into the channel for improved content and other things like that. And so I guess while I got you out here, you may have seen my Harley motorcycle more than a few times. This is my 2011 Harley Sportster Nightster, and just like with a car, with a Lincoln Town car, my Lincoln Town car is a 2002, by the way. This is a 2011, and I replaced all of the bulbs, like this one. I replaced all the bulbs with all LED. You can't see it on that side. So front bulbs are all LED. Rear bulbs here, those are all LED. And just like with the town car here, I did have to come up with a special little module to make the front and rear taillights flash properly during a turn signal. So that special module I bought off the internet is underneath the seat, and it's all plug and play, so that really made it real easy instead of trying to splice in resistors and into the wiring and trying to figure out where to put those little resistors at, because they get burning, scalding hot when they are working, energized. So what's nice about this is a small little plastic module. It fits easily underneath the seat with the rest of the wiring, does not get hot, and that helps out for the little LED bulbs to work and flash properly. And I even put an LED bulb, you can kind of sort of make it out. There's an LED bulb in there for the headlight, which is nice and extra bright. So even this bike has LED bulbs in it. I even wired in a tachometer by myself And that's a special little module to make it work properly. And I had to splice in the wiring way up under there where the coil is at, and you can't really see here, but that's just a big cluster of wires all kind of, you know, connected all together, but it does work. And the only thing with that tachometer is, for whatever some odd reason, the little light inside of it does not come on, and I don't know why, if it's the tachometer or something else, but no great big deal. I don't ride it at night anyway, so I'm strictly just ride this set during the daytime. So just like with a town car, this Harley bike also has LED bulbs all on it, and I did make a video, or a couple of videos all about it. It's on my other second channel, and that's called Riders for Christ. So you can check that out if you wish to. Check out Riders for Christ, and check out the how-to videos I put on that channel for this Harley. I made a video where I replaced out this chrome belt cover, so I made a video of that. And these are the Vance and Hines pipes. These came with the bike when I bought it at the Harley dealership back in early October 2019. So I didn't have this bike for really very long at all. And so if I got time, I use this bike, I use this Harley for motor vlogging. You can kind of see I got the one camera mount there to face me, and I have another camera mount on my helmet. So when you go to my other channel, Riders for Christ, you can also check out some of the motor vlogs I've been running off of this Harley. You can check out the lighting and the sound and engine and all that cool awesome stuff. So if you like that channel, well, definitely be sure to subscribe to that channel as well. Give me a thumbs up for those videos, and once again, some of those how-to videos, if you think those would help out someone else, definitely share them with others and maybe have them subscribe to my channel as well. Really would mean an awful lot to me. And again, it's all for trying to get both of my channels to be monetized, so I can have just a little bit of extra money and encouragement and support I can put right back into the YouTube channels to get you better quality content and more exciting content, just, you know, whole thing all the way around it. So it ain't like I'm trying to be monetized to be greedy or whichever like that. Just trying to need just a little extra help, a little extra support, so I can try to bring you better quality upgraded content as I go, because as you know, nothing's for free. Things do cost, and with a little bit of money I do have with my job, it's not really quite enough to do some of the things I really like to do. Anyway, so once again, I really do appreciate your support, your encouragement. Thank you for watching my video. Let me know what you think of all that I've shown you today. Hopefully that's going to help you, help somebody. And let me know in the comments too if there's something else that I can bring to you creative wise, and that would mean a lot to me. Alright, well, that's all for now. I'll let you go, and hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.